Life often feels like a battlefield, doesn't it? We navigate social circles, professional spaces, and personal relationships, constantly evaluating where we stand. There's a subtle dance in every conversation, a hidden game in every negotiation, where victory doesn't always go to the strongest, but to the one who plays the smartest. The person who can remain calm, adapt, and see through the facade will always have an edge. But how do you gain that edge? How do you sharpen your mind to outsmart everyone around you? Stoicism, an ancient philosophy embraced by powerful figures like Marcus Aurelius, offers a blueprint. It's not about manipulation or deceit. It's about clarity, control, and calm under pressure, qualities that allow you to see the truth, no matter how cleverly disguised it may be. In this video, we're diving into 5 powerful Stoic keys that will help you outsmart those around you, not through trickery, but by mastering yourself and, in turn, mastering the situation. Imagine possessing the mental tools to stay unshakable in any scenario. How might that transform your life? Let's explore. 1. Master emotional detachment. Clarity in the chaos. Have you ever found yourself in a heated argument, emotions flaring, with words flying out of your mouth faster than you can think? In those moments, we often realize too late that we've lost control of the conversation, and the person on the other side has won. You didn't outsmart them, they outmaneuvered you by pulling you into an emotional spiral. But what if you could step back from the storm and stay calm, even when provoked? Stoicism teaches us to remain emotionally detached, a key element in outsmarting others. It's about observing, not reacting. When everyone else is busy letting their emotions dictate their actions, you stand still, like a rock in a raging river. I once worked with a manager who thrived on intimidation and confrontation. He was quick to anger, and it seemed like the whole team walked on eggshells around him. I could see that he fed off others' fear, gaining control through their emotional responses. I decided to try something different. Instead of reacting to his outbursts, I listened calmly. When he raised his voice, I responded in a measured tone. When he threw accusations, I calmly asked for clarification. Over time, his power over me faded. Without the emotional fuel, he had nothing to hold over me. And in meetings, while others were silenced by their emotions, I remained clear-headed and strategic. The power balance shifted. Emotional detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means choosing when to engage and when to remain silent. It's seeing the situation for what it is, not what your feelings tell you it is. The next time you're in a tense situation, ask yourself, am I reacting or am I responding? The difference between the two could determine whether you walk away victorious or defeated. 2. Understand human nature, the power of observation. People often reveal more than they think. They speak in subtle cues, in glances, in pauses between words. And yet most of us are so caught up in our own thoughts that we miss these vital signals. Outsmarting others requires mastering the art of observation, seeing what's beneath the surface. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, reminded us in his meditations to consider the mind of others. People exist for one another, he wrote, urging us to understand human nature. But understanding doesn't come from assuming. It comes from watching closely. What motivates them? What fears do they have? What are their desires? Once, during a negotiation for a business deal, I was up against a seasoned negotiator known for his sharp tactics. But I knew that every person has a tell, something they inadvertently reveal when they're about to make a move. Throughout the meeting, I watched his body language. Every time he shifted the conversation toward the numbers, his hands would fidget slightly, and he would break eye contact. It was subtle, but it told me that his focus wasn't as much on the numbers as it was on the timeline of delivery. He was in a hurry. By observing that detail, I was able to offer a compromise on the deadline rather than on the money, giving me an upper hand in the deal. By carefully studying people, not just their words, but their body language, their patterns, and their emotional shifts, you can see the truth that others miss. And when you know what someone truly wants or fears, you gain control over the conversation. Think about your interactions. Are you really listening or just waiting for your turn to speak? Start paying attention to the details, and you'll begin to outmaneuver those around you. 3. Control your narrative. The art of perception. Outsmarting others isn't just about what you know, it's about how others see you. Perception is reality. If people believe you're confident, knowledgeable, and unshakable, they will treat you that way. If they sense uncertainty or weakness, they'll exploit it. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of controlling what's within your power, and one of the most powerful things you can control is your own narrative. How do you present yourself to the world? What image do you project? I learned this lesson early in my career. As a young professional, I often felt like I didn't belong in the high-stakes meetings I found myself in. Everyone seemed more experienced, more qualified, but I realized that my self-doubt was apparent in the way I carried myself, head down, avoiding eye contact, speaking too softly. One day, I decided to change my approach. I walked into the next meeting with my shoulders back, maintaining eye contact, speaking with clarity and confidence. Nothing had changed about my qualifications or knowledge, but everything changed about how people responded to me. They listened. They respected my opinions, all because I controlled the narrative. In every interaction, you have the power to shape how others see you. Are you projecting confidence or doubt? Control the way you are perceived, and you'll find that people will treat you accordingly. They'll follow your lead, believe in your expertise, and grant you more influence than you might have earned otherwise. Master your own image, and the game tilts in your favor. 4. Embrace silence. Strategic restraint. Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable silence makes people? We rush to fill the void, babbling on and often revealing more than we should. But the person who can sit in that silence, unbothered, holds immense power. Silence forces the other person to speak, and in their rush to break the tension, they often give away their position. Seneca, another great Stoic, wrote extensively about the power of restraint. Not every battle needs to be fought with words. Sometimes, saying nothing at all is the most powerful move you can make. I recall a time when a colleague tried to bait me into an argument in front of others. He made a snide comment, expecting me to react, hoping to embarrass me or make me look defensive. Instead, I simply smiled and said nothing. The silence hung in the air. He squirmed, clearly uncomfortable. In his attempt to fill the silence, he rambled on, revealing more about his own insecurities than anything about me. In the end, I walked away with my dignity intact while he had exposed his weakness. Silence can be a weapon, a shield, and a tool all in one. It disarms people, making them uneasy, and forces them to reveal their hand. The next time you find yourself in a tense situation, try embracing the silence. You'll be surprised at how much you can learn just by saying nothing. 5. Focus on long-term wins. Patience as a superpower. In a world where people chase quick wins, immediate gratification, and short-term success, the one who plays the long game always wins. Outsmarting those around you often means being patient, waiting for the right moment, and not rushing into decisions. The Stoics were masters of patience. They understood that true power comes not from winning every battle, but from winning the war. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of the bigger picture. His reign was not about momentary victories, but about the legacy he would leave behind. In my own life, I once found myself competing for a promotion with someone who was quick to take credit for every small success, constantly vying for the spotlight. It was tempting to do the same, to rush for recognition, but instead, I focused on building long-term relationships with key decision-makers, taking on projects that would have a lasting impact, even if they didn't yield immediate rewards. In the end, my patience paid off. While my colleague was eventually seen as too opportunistic, I had built a reputation of reliability and long-term value, earning the promotion through strategic patience. Patience is your greatest asset when it comes to outsmarting others. While they chase short-term gains, you stay focused on the bigger picture, waiting for the right moment to make your move. Over time, this strategy will put you miles ahead of the competition. Final thoughts: outsmarting through mastery of self. Outsmarting others isn't about manipulating them or constantly being 2 steps ahead in every game. It's about mastering yourself, your emotions, your perceptions, your patience, and your ability to observe. The Stoics understood that the greatest power comes from within. When you can control yourself, you can control any situation. So the next time you find yourself in a challenging scenario, remember these 5 Stoic keys. Detach from emotions, observe human nature, control your narrative, embrace silence, and focus on the long term. In doing so, you'll not only outsmart everyone around you, you'll elevate yourself to a new level of personal power. Are you ready to play the game? The key to winning is already within you.